Tonight, a case of arson at Club Empire 758 is caught on camera, and the hunt is now on for the perpetrators. Brand Shaw speaks as a team from Japan arrive here to shoot a documentary on Botham Jean. And pollster and political analyst Peter Wickham takes us inside Dominica's political arena following the Prime Minister's election announcement. We have the details coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 6th of November, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM Radio. You can watch on our website, www.caribbeanhottv.com, on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, or our Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. I'm lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. 3 individuals were caught on camera spreading what appears to be gasoline outside of Club Empire 758 in Labrie. The individuals set the outside bar on fire before triggering the alarm and fleeing the scene. The owner of the club, Ken Behrens, better known as DJ Reds, says he is at a loss as to why anyone would target his establishment.
Well, basically, I do not know exactly who the individuals are. I do not know why they intended to burn down Empire 758. I've never been in any issues or problems with anybody. So it's the same way it is as a shock to probably customers or patrons of Empire 758. It is the same for me. It is as much shocking as it is for me at the same time. But the good thing about it is that I'm thankful that the entire building did not get burned down. It was just the outside part, or which I call the outside bar, and a few electricals and speakers and stuff like that. So I guess I have to be thankful for that at the end of the day, because I can move on. You understand? No life was taken in that incident. So I'm thankful for what it is at the point in time.
That was DJ Reds, the owner of Club Empire 758, speaking with Hot FM on-air personality Mr. Jordan following the case of arson at his establishment. In other news, a team from Japan is on island. They are filming a documentary about Botham Jean and his family. His brother, Brand Jean, has been a talking point ever since he hugged and forgave his brother's murderer, Amber Geiger. Brand is now speaking candidly to Hot 7 TV about the aftermath of that now infamous hug to Amber Geiger.
This is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please.
St. Lucia and the rest of the world, following the Amber Geiger case, fell silent on Wednesday, the 2nd of October, when shortly after Geiger was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the murder of Botham Jean, the victim's brother, Brand Jean, forgave and embraced the former Dallas police officer. The hug set off a tidal wave of emotions on both ends of the spectrum, ranging from happiness and inspiration to extreme anger and disappointment. Those in favor of his actions said the hug represented a pure form of love, forgiveness, and strength to see one treat someone who has caused them so much pain with such compassion. On the flip side, those against it expressed extreme anger, saying that it was a slap in the face of all the black people killed unlawfully and unfairly by white American police officers. They said, had the roles been reversed and that it was a black man who killed a white woman under the same circumstances, the outcome, as well as the treatment towards him by the nation, would not have been as kind and humbling. The 18-year-old has not spoken much about his decision, but told Hot 7 TV that the attention he has received since then is overwhelming to say the least, and that he does not owe an explanation to any of the naysayers.
I always believe I didn't have to justify why I did anything. I don't like having to justify myself, not even just this situation. It's just always something in my head. I believe I don't have to justify why I do something to anybody. Sometimes I don't feel like I don't owe anybody that. And also I don't like the attention. I dreamt of being famous, but not this way. and I don't like it.
As he stated in the international press, Jean said he acted according to his own will and he stands by his decision. He admitted, though, that he wasn't always in the forgiving mood.
It got to the point where something happened, and I was like, I cannot hold that in my heart forever. And going through that courtroom, like listening to facts, it's true that she deserved to be convicted. It's true that she deserved to be, given some time in prison. But there's a bigger part, and that's her soul and her life. And my goal then was to get her to change her life.
Although the case was closed in October, the lives of the Jean family, especially the teenagers, has continued to be impacted by every aspect of it, from the fateful night of September 26th, when Botham Jean was killed, to the day of Geiger's sentencing. They have even been approached by documentary and filmmakers to film the story. Brand Jean said he is not interested in going down that route.
I believe in saying things once, depending on whatever media I come across. If a question is asked, I will answer that question. And because I believe it's aired, like it's put out there on the internet or on television or wherever, I believe if I give that answer once, I don't have to say it to anybody else. So that's why if I do one interview, I'm not going to go to another interview to answer the exact same questions that were asked previously. It's not like me just not. I know it's going to come. I know the people wanted to do movies and interviews and books and stuff. I know it's going to come, but I'm not going to answer it twice. Yeah.
Jean urged persons to think before they act and to not allow anger to dictate their actions. He said it is important for persons to prioritize their happiness and to take time to consider what will make them feel good before acting. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Dominicans will go to the polls on the 6th of December 2019, and the Roosevelt Skerritt administration believes it is well poised for yet another term in office. On the 12th of October, Skerritt announced that the next general election would be held within 100 days. True to his word, he announced at an event on Tuesday night that Parliament will be dissolved on the 6th of November 2019. Nomination day will be Tuesday, the 19th of November 2019, and election day will be the 6th of December. Pollster and political analyst Peter Wickham joins us via telephone to discuss the latest developments in Dominican politics. Peter, tell us, if you can, how has the election announcement by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt been received?
Yeah, lovely. I'm not in St. Dominica at the moment, so it's difficult to say how the announcement has been received. But what I can tell you is that from my work on the ground, there has been a keen anticipation of the announcement of this election date. I think that in some quarters there was an expectation that it would have been announced since July. So I think the population is definitely ready for the election. It is due pretty much in December. That would be the 5-year anniversary, and I think that people are keen on getting out and participating yet again.
And do you think that the opposition leader, Lennox Linton, has covered enough ground ahead of this election?
I don't think he has. Lennox Linton has some challenges in terms of his personality, the way he presents himself, and the fact that the personality of Prime Minister Skerritt tends to be a slightly more attractive one as far as leadership is concerned. The confidence issues that he had in the last election, he appears still to have, and I think that that will be a huge factor regarding his electability.
Could the Hurricane Maria factor, as some people call it, and new aid coming into Dominica help Roosevelt Skerritt to clinch a win in this election?
Yeah, I certainly agree that the Hurricane Maria is a big factor, especially as I would say in all quarters, both supporters and opposers, people feel that the supporters and opposers of the government, I should say, people feel that the government has handled the issue of Hurricane Maria quite well. The response and the recovery has been quite good. And I think that that's a general assessment of people. Of course, there are some who feel that they should have gotten more than they got and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that is normal in these situations. But generally speaking, I think that the Hurricane Maria factor will help Skerritt, if nothing else, especially as people seem to feel that in that context he did quite well.
And Peter, I know you're on the ground, you're doing your assessments, carrying out your polls. What are the major issues heading into this election? And is voter registration still a major concern for the opposition and, of course, those who support the opposition?
Yeah, the issues going into the election it's really all about the economy, employment, the cost of living, and general development. At one level, there is a perception of Dominica's development and general concerns about the overall development path, especially as the CIP has not been as productive as it has been in the past in all Caribbean countries. So the anticipation that there needs to be a new big thing, I think that would be a huge developmental factor. And then, yeah, people are concerned about the cost of living. They're concerned about the standard of living, the ability to make ends meet. These are the kinds of issues. What is significant, though, on this occasion is that there's no mention of crime, or let's say there's not a significant mention of crime in Dominica, and I think that is an important point that has to be made. As far as voter registration is concerned, I do think that continues to be a big issue.
And are you at a point where you can make a call about this upcoming election or release any poll data?
We haven't been in a position to release any polls yet. My expectation is that certainly before the next election, we will be making some sort of a release, and certainly you will be one of the first to know.
And what about the leader himself in terms of the sentiment towards Roosevelt Skerrit? During your polling and your assessment, is there much anti-Skerrit sentiment, would you say?
I haven't really detected an anti-Skerrit sentiment. What I have detected more is a prevailing feeling that maybe he needs to look at the issue of retirement. And I think that if anything, there is that. The concern about, this is an individual who's been Prime Minister for a long time, and he has already said that this is his final time going down. And I think the conversation is really about that. But to categorize it as an anti-Skerrit sentiment, I can't say in all honesty that I have experienced that on the ground.
Well, thank you so much for all of that insight into the Dominican political landscape and this upcoming election. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, lovely. Thanks again. It was good chatting with you about the politics of Dominica. I look forward to the next opportunity.
That was pollster and political analyst Peter Wickham out of Barbados. Moving on, speculation has been rife that Dr. Ernest Hilaire has his sights set on being political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Dr. Hilaire has denied this, but rumors persist. In September, he became the first deputy political leader of the party, with Philip J. Pierre receiving the nod from the party as leader. The Castries South MP and current SLP first deputy leader is the guest on this week's Hot Seat with host Trisha Lionel.
There has been concern, though, that with this new position, it is your way of inching closer to become leader. Is that the case? Do you want to be leader of the SLP, and is this part of your grand design?
Oh, first of all, you said there's concern. So there's concern if I become leader?
Concern, yes, and people want to know, so people...
Interest or
interest.
concern?
Interest and concerns. Okay. Concern on different parts.
Depends on who.
Depends on who. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure there's any grand design. I mean, my entire... almost my entire life I've been involved in.
Dr. Hilaire also faces the burning questions about the Walid Jufali affair, succession plans in the party, Dr. Anthony's place moving forward, and issues of governance and the economy. Tune in to the Hot Seat tonight at 8 p.m. and catch the repeat on Saturday as part of the Double Take. The Double Take begins at 7 p.m. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, missing persons cases that the police force cannot seem to crack to date. WASCO addresses prolonged unavailability of water in the south and says much of it was out of its hands, and continued concerns about Franco-St. Lucian relations due to crime. That and more when we return.